What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the issues in Madden 22 with player physics and related logic and penalties. Now, in today's video, I have an example of players running into each other, throwing off the timing of routes, and the logic not really making sense for why they even run into each other in the first place. So the first thing that I want to do is just play this play through so you guys can get a sense of how the timing is thrown off for whenever players run into each other. So you guys can see Joe Burrow, pretty much unpressured here in the pocket, is going on a slants play. This is just a basic slants play. One slant from the left, one slant from the right, and the receivers run into each other upfield, and it throws off the timing. Now, Joe Burrow's pass rate there, it's a little bit low, but it's thrown to the correct spot with the timing of the play. If the receiver is not knocked off of his route, that's the correct ball, and the wide receiver should be able to catch that. However, the receivers run into each other on this play and cause the timing to be messed up. Now, if we take a closer look here at what's actually going on, both of these receivers are running a slant. Now, one of them is faster than the other, which is advantageous to the timing of the play. And we do actually get some contact on this play that isn't too bad. You guys can see right here, Ja'Marr Chase hits this defender and just kind of sheds past him and quickly goes on his way on his route. However, what you'll see a lot of the time is players getting completely knocked off their route by defenders. And I'm talking like 5 to 10 yards knocked off their route, or getting stuck on a defender for a significant amount of time that ends up resulting in a thrown off play that ends up a lot of times resulting in an interception. Now, right here, in my opinion, I see no reason for why these receivers should even run into each other. They're running at different levels at this point, and they're running slants. So Ja'Marr Chase, in theory, should be running upfield in this direction. He should be aiming out past that defensive back, and this is where the logic and the related penalties come into play. Ja'Marr Chase, whenever he's running this route, should say, okay, yes, there's a defender in my path right here, but there's no way T. Higgins gets in my path. There's no reason I should try to adjust my route. If that defender gets in his way, then it's going to result in a penalty. That's going to be an interference penalty. Or rather, I should say, an illegal contact penalty. If that defender hits him and results in knocking him off his route substantially enough that prevents him from catching the football, it can be an illegal contact penalty. And that's what I think is one of the major issues here, is when players are really knocked off their route, there is no illegal contact penalty called within the game. I don't even think that there's an option for illegal contact within the game, and that creates a major issue. Now, however, what actually happens here is actually quite bizarre. Ja'Marr Chase decides he's going to try to cut underneath of T. Higgins for some reason. There's absolutely no logic there that could tell me why that happens. Ja'Marr Chase is on a slant route running at the 10-yard line at the 7-yard line, and never advances past the 7-yard line because he wants to cut underneath of T. Higgins. It's absolutely bizarre, and there's no logical explanation for why that is occurring. Ja'Marr Chase is at a deeper level than T. Higgins. He's at least 2 yards deeper than T. Higgins. He should be the one cutting over top. And if anybody decides they're going to adjust their route to cut underneath, it should be T. Higgins, because he would have the leverage to do so without running into anybody. He could slightly adjust his route and remain open and have that defender be a trailing defender. Now, like I said, this is one clear example, in my opinion, of where physics gets in the way of the play and the logic doesn't make any sense with what's actually going on. And this is a huge detriment to playing the game. It makes it totally unfun to play whenever you have wide receivers that should be open on their timing. I mean, Ja'Marr Chase has this defender burnt. That's the reason that they run slant routes. A lot of times they're quick slant routes. I know that I'm running this, relatively long for a slant route, but they have a man right there on Ja'Marr Chase. I'm not going to run that quick, and T. Higgins doesn't have a lot of spacing on the right side, and he has a linebacker coming over to potentially intercept that ball. So we can't run quick slant right here. You have to wait for this play to develop. Maybe there's a window right there for Ja'Marr Chase, but nonetheless, you're supposed to be able to run this play long, and these players aren't going to run into each other in real life. They might run into the defender, but they're not going to hit shoulder to shoulder and totally just, blow into each other and knock both of their routes off because that disrupts the timing of the play. The logic here just completely is off. It doesn't make any sense. Like I said, no reason that Ja'Marr Chase, who is 2 yards ahead, should be cutting underneath of T. Higgins, and there should be a related penalty to this. You should have the potential for an illegal contact penalty if that defender knocks him off his route, meaning the defender has to adjust. And on top of that, the physics themselves should be adjusted. I mean, your players shouldn't be running into each other like this and it knocking them off their routes so drastically. I mean, you're talking about we're starting at the 7-yard line and Ja'Marr Chase ends up almost at the 9-yard line whenever this ball comes his way, so 8-yard line. And there are more drastic examples of the physics end of things where you see a receiver, maybe they're running a post or a flag or something like that, and they come upfield and they just get stuck on the defender in front of them and they never break left or right on their route and things like that. That happens to me all the time, and I hate seeing that type of stuff because, yeah, like you can get jammed off your route and you can get bumped off your route, but you're not going to get taken completely out of the play against most average defensive backs. And then the most absurd ones are whenever something like that happens and for whatever reason, like let's say Ja'Marr Chase is running a route to the outside, he gets bumped 5 yards to the inside to the numbers and then cuts out to the outside, even though the route is up and out or something like that. That type of stuff happens to me all the time. I don't know if it happens to you guys, but I can't stand when that type of stuff happens because it totally throws off the timing of the play. Like right here, I have to get ready to throw this ball with Joe Burrow. If I don't throw this ball right here, I'm going to be pressured and potentially sacked. And I know that I'm drifting way outside of the pocket, and this again is not a perfect example because a slant route is not always supposed to be a play that lasts this long. I mean, you're supposed to hit slants relatively quick like the Saints do with Michael Thomas and stuff like that, but the point still remains that players need to run their routes through the entirety of the play, and there needs to be some logic with how they run their routes in terms of like Ja'Marr Chase here should be going over top and T. Higgins, if anybody adjusts their route, T. Higgins should adjust underneath. And again, there needs to be the associated penalties with that, associated logic with that, and it just simply doesn't exist. This is a problem that has been huge in Madden 22, and it stems all from the physics and the lack of logic within the game. So I want this to be a top priority for future years because this totally destroys any semblance of realism within the game. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you have this issue? Do you not have this issue? I know a lot of my friends experience this issue with their receivers getting totally knocked off their routes or running into each other and not having proper logic. Like I said, leave those comments down below and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button down below and leave that feedback to help drive that algorithm. I'll see you guys in the next one, and I hope you have a good one.